Great morning, you all. Happy Tuesday. How are you doing? This is your girl, Shan. I start off every Tuesday morning thanking everyone who supported and listened to our radio show on last night, Marriage Mondays with the Kings, where we were keeping it real, bringing that biblical truth in regards to marriage. Between our show and the videos that I do in the morning, more so the videos that I do in the morning, but between the both, we generally touch on topics that no one else is willing to dare talk about. You know what I'm saying? God is allowing us to really be bold and come out and really just hit on some things. And so the radio show may be a little bit lighter. My videos are more direct. Good morning, Delisha, Natasha. How are y'all doing? More direct. I really just encourage us to think beyond the surface of what it is, that we see. Think beyond the surface when it comes to our marriage. Good morning, Natasha. Both Natasha's is on. Sorry, I get excited. Good morning, Salitha. But quit, start thinking, learn to fall in love with what's behind the scenes instead of what's on the surface. That's going to be today's topic. Hey, Latanya, learn to fall in love with what's behind the scene versus what's on the surface. And I know some of y'all be like, dang, Shan, what the heck you be thinking about? What you be talking about? Like, I'm going to always give some good old country examples. And so this is a good example that I could really give. And this thing has really been touching my heart. But prime example. Okay, women, a great deal of us like to wear makeup and different things like that and stuff. And so you may, have your face beat, as the kids say. And so you may have a young man, a gentleman, or whatever, who falls in love for what he sees on the exterior, but he never falls in love with what's behind that, what's behind the scenes. And so that's a good example to give. When it comes to your marriage, I was asking maybe last week or 2 weeks ago, what made you fall in love with your husband or your wife? And I've just been thinking deeper and deeper and deeper. What is it that you fall in love with in regards to your spouse that maybe nobody else know? Because see, when we're married, we can see our husbands and wives on a deeper level. And we always, either we're going to fall in love or we're going to get irritated by what's on the surface. Hey, Wendy, but we never tend to go deeper. Now, some may say, well, Shan, you don't understand. My spouse is hard-hearted, that, my husband or my wife don't let anybody in. They pin up their emotions and everything like that. And I will tell you, if you are this spouse, go get help, man. Go get help, sis. It's not even worth it. You see what I'm saying? And I often wonder, and I often speak about how God desires for us to have a marriage that's at a deeper level. And this is the thing right here. Your girl goes deep. Hey, Leslie, I'm going to say things to make you deep. So if God desires us to have a marriage at a deeper level, ask yourself, when it came to your husband and your wife, did you fall in love with the surface, the exterior, or did you fall in love with what was behind the scenes? I do thank God for the gift of discernment. I've always had, and it's only gotten stronger with the relationship, that I have with God. However, what is it? When I think about even the relationships, and let's parallel our own individual relationship that we have in God, do we fall in love? And some of y'all may be Christians, some may be Muslims, or whatever the case may be. But do you fall in love? And I'm going to speak from a Christian standpoint, because that's what I am. But do you fall in love with being a Christian and all the little cute things that you do in church and all the little cute outfits that you wear and all the little cute conferences and everything that you go to? And I'm not knocking. Do you fall in love with that? Or do you fall in love with the deeper behind the scenes when nobody's seeing you crying, when you really crying out to God, when you're praying? What is your relationship like with God? We can play God. Hey, Cammie, we can play God all day. But what is your relationship like with God? Do you truly operate in the spirit of faith? Do you truly know that God got your back no matter what? I know y'all like, dang, Shan, what is this, a Bible study lesson on today? No, it's not. What I'm basically saying is trying to get you to parallel your relationship with God to your relationship that you have with your spouse. Some may say, well, Shan, I can't even compare. And the question is why? What did you fall in love with? I'm gonna speak on something that a great deal of us can relate to what I'm saying. I don't know how many of y'all have heard this when you was growing up in your home, especially if it was a home of dysfunction, where it says what goes on in this house stays in this house. You better not let nobody know what is going on outside the house. Good morning, Toya. Some of you all was raised under that same principle. And see, what we don't understand is when that seed is planted, and some of y'all are saying it to your children right now. When that seed is planted, what you're basically doing is teaching a child how to put Band-Aid on situations. You're teaching a child not to feel with the situation and dysfunction and not to deal with it. You're teaching a child how to be fake. You're teaching the child how to go out in the world and put on a fake smile. You know what I'm saying? But then we sit up here and wonder why we got so many fake people that's walking around. I don't know where God is taking me, but I'm going to go on today. See, that was birthed and created inside the home, and a great deal of us grew up in that. And so we end up marrying an individual. We're ending up being in a relationship with the individual that they don't open up and they don't talk about nothing. You get mad at the exterior of the individual, but you don't take the time to get to know what's going on behind the scenes. You see what I'm saying? And that's why a lot of our marriages are not prospering. We don't take the time. And even when we try, maybe we approach it in the wrong way. Because I know my husband, I'm just going to say whatever. He'll say whatever too now. But when we first met, he kept his feelings really guarded, and I did too. I had a wall of protection around it. Look at how you met your spouse. But now, because of the trust that we have in each other, I am able to see behind the scenes with him as well, him with me. Ask yourself, what does that look like? We'll get upset at, oh yeah, they don't open up, they don't talk to me, they don't love me. We bring it all back around on us when we don't get what it is what we want. And that's why we so, I'm trying not to go there on today. That's why our marriages can't really grow and prosper, because we're too busy stuck on the exterior and the surface of what we see. We're too busy faking things instead of actually doing the work. And so ask yourself, even if you're not married, if you're single, good morning, Sister Lolo. Do you fake your relationship with God? Do you fake speaking in tongues and shouting and all this other kind of stuff? Do you fake it on the job? Are you going in, good morning, good morning, good morning, this fake smile? Where is that birth from? Because if you're always used to faking, of course, you're never going to go deep, especially when it comes to your marriage. Now, for some of us, when we go deep, especially when it comes to our spouse, because we're so used to faking it and we want them to go deep and they won't, we'll sit up here and tear them up with our tongue. We'll talk them down. We'll treat them like trash and dirt on the street. And then after we verbally abuse them and mentally and emotionally abuse them, then we turn around and tell them, don't let people know what's going on in this house. What does that sound like? That sounds like what was replicated from childhood. It's time for us to stop playing games when it comes to marriage. And only you can answer this. Are you operating in what's on the surface, which is a whole bunch of fakery, or are you actually beyond the scenes? Do you, as husband and wife, do you have that in-depth conversation? I know when it comes to my husband, I can ask him anything, and if he don't know, he'll say, I don't know. But we can have some real in-depth conversation. Or do you keep it shallow and surface, and do you just smile for the people and hold hands when you go out in public? So if that's what you do, then let's go back, because I really believe in my heart the relationship that we have with God, it definitely mirrors in our marriage. We have so many wives that sit up here and say, yes, I want my husband to be like this. I want him to talk like this. I want him to walk like this and everything like that. You want him to do all the things on the surface that's fake to make you feel good, but you're not willing to be that wife. I'm talking to somebody on this morning that will go into prayer, that will honestly cover your husband. And I'm not talking about you praying to God and you covering your husband, but then you using that same mouth to curse him and minimize him and belittle him and say he's not good enough. If you can speak blessings and everything when you are speaking to people in the church, then you should be able to speak blessings over your spouse any other time. I don't know how many people do this. And I sit up here and often wonder, God, are you frustrated? Are you fed up with this? Are you fed up with how people are playing with marriage? Are you fed up of how you want their marriage to be so amazing, but they're not even willing to take the work and the sacrifice and build the trust amongst each other so they can go deeper in their marriage, God? If we see it as people, and I know for me having a passion for marriage, if we see it as people, can you imagine how God may feel about it? So you have to ask yourself, are you guilty of this? You don't even have to comment below. I don't need to know. That's between you and God. God's allowing me to speak this truth on this morning. So are we operating in the surface and the things that look good, and as long as we dress nice and we got the biggest ring and we're driving the fanciest cars and everything like that, but then when you go in the home and the marriage behind closed doors, it's a whole bunch of emptiness, it's a whole bunch of negativity, it's a whole bunch of drama. What are we working on? Why are we in this marriage if we're not willing to do the work? And doing the work is not going to talk to everybody else and dogging your spouse. You see what I'm saying? It's going to share your heart if you're going to share with somebody, with real people that's going to cover you. Good morning, Cousin Kim, in prayer. They're going to cover your marriage in prayer. They want the best for you. They want to see the best in you, unless it's definitely a toxic situation because you were guilty of falling in love with the surface and you didn't take the time to get to know the person behind the scenes. How many of us do that where we jump into a relationship? Some have been in prior relationships and it's been the same situation. Some of y'all are still in that same vicious cycle. You dating right now and you giving and willing yourself to this individual because you fall in love with the surface, but you never get to know that individual at a deeper level. Do you know what wounds your spouse? Do you know what make your spouse upset? Do you know what make your spouse happy? Heck, I'm even asking, some of y'all don't even know this. What's your spouse's favorite color? Have you got beyond the superficial? Have you even said, okay, God, I have a heart where I protect my heart because I've been hurt so many times. God, I'm coming to you in prayer and I'm asking you to show me how to open up to my spouse. And see, that's what I always say. When your husband and your wife open up to you, that's not for you to go and carry and tell their business to your mama and them. That's not for you to, when y'all get into an argument, you take those same words when they show their vulnerability and you're starting to go deep in your marriage and you take the same words in the midst of an argument and you slap them in the face with it. I can't stand that. How do you expect to go deeper in your marriage if you use the very words when your spouse is coming to you at a place of vulnerability, hey Jermaine, and you slap them smooth in the face with what they share with you? Do you think they're going to open up and go deeper with you ever again? No, because you broke their trust and they feel that they can't trust you. How many of y'all break the trust when it comes to the relationship that you have with God? How many of y'all do that? How many of y'all have lied and said, God, if you help me through this, God, I promise you, I'm going to line up, hey, Kayla, and I'm going to do all the things that it is that you want me to do. How many of y'all do that? So we need to stop operating in the superficial. Stop operating in the surface when it comes to marriage. Stop, slapping your spouse in the face with your words when it comes to an argument and you get upset and you trying to cut deep, but yet and still you expect them to line up and do the things that you want for them to do with your superficial surface acting self. Oh, yes, your girl goes there. That's what I do. So like I always say, if this ain't the truth that you want, then keep it scrolling because I'm not mad. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody mad but the devil. That's what they say in church, right? So are you willing to go deeper in your marriage? Like I said, God has been using me and my husband to be able to help people see some things at a deeper level. If you can't think at a deeper level, then this is not the conversation for you. Go over and talk to somebody who's going to continue to speak the things in your ear that you want to hear, but it's not going to help you grow. I believe when you have a relationship with God and you say, God, hey, Toya, I want to be deeper in you. I want to go deeper in you. God is going to allow you to go through some things that's going to help you to grow. Some of y'all mentally is not at the same place where you were 10, 20 years ago. So how do you expect your marriage to go deeper if your mindset is still in the same place as when you first got married? Who's going to be grown and mature on today? Who's really going to work this thing when it comes to marriage? And I'm telling you, you can tell the growth and the maturity and the depthness that you're going in your marriage when your verbiage change from he's the fault, he's the problem, she's the problem, she's always saying this. And every time you get into a heated discussion, you start to point the finger and say what your spouse is doing instead of saying, you know what, I was wrong in that. I shouldn't have said that. I so apologize from the bottom of my heart. That's when you go deeper in your marriage and you start to grow. But some of us are too afraid to go there because even in our childhood, we had to fake like everything was going okay. And we adopted that same principle and brought it right on over into our marriage. Some of those generational curses and those generational things that were actually set up and implanted in our lineage to destroy our marriage and our happiness going forward, somebody needs to be the game changer. I'm going to continue to say that. So what are you? Are you one that's going to ride off of those generational curses where you've looked back and seen in your lineage that marriages aren't going to make it? Or are you going to go deeper in your marriage and you're going to affect change for the better? And like I say, change your future generation. What are we doing here? So you can stay superficial if you want to. It's going to hurt you. You can have people lying to you if you want to. It's going to hurt you. And some of y'all right now, oh, no, Shan, you don't understand. No, baby. You had people that was lying to you superficial, and you are not willing to take it when God uses people to tell you the truth. Only you can examine and do an evaluation and assessment of the current situation that you are in your marriage. I'm only speaking from a place of experience. Me and my husband had to grow up. We had to mature, and we had to go deeper in order for our marriage to go better. So like we was talking about those roots on yesterday on our radio show, if you missed it, pinned to the top of our Facebook page, I think you can go to Buzzsprout and you can listen to it if you missed it. In order for you to go deeper and pull up those roots, those damaging roots from your past lineage, baby, y'all got to dig together and y'all got to work together. And it's not going to be easy, and y'all going to be tired. So are we ready to deal with those roots and bring them up so you can have pretty grass like we talked about on yesterday? Or you want to continue to allow your marriage to be choked out amongst the weeds? Okay? Only you can answer that. So y'all have a blessed day. Don't let anybody steal your joy. Share this because it's free. Be a blessing to somebody today, not a curse. Know your girl, she ain't gonna get back with you on tomorrow. I feel in my spirit that I'm gonna be talking about something to the effect of, why is it when we get into it and we get upset with our spouse in marriage, we always revert back to the place where we act like a little temper tantrum child? Yeah, that's what I think I'm going to be talking about on tomorrow. So y'all have a blessed day. Blessings to you. And I'll be back with you on tomorrow, whatever it is that God placed on my heart. God bless.